How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Samachay, Daf 65 of Masechta Nazir. Friends, look, the second to last Daf of Masechta Nazir, it's highly technical. Alright, let's do it. So if you're on, so we're going to start on Daf Samach Daled on base, 4 lines from the bottom at the Mishnah. Hamoitze meiz batchila mushkov kedarko. Okay, so if a fellow finds a corpse in some place, a corpse was buried someplace, nobody had any idea that it was buried there. Mushkav kedarko, and it's lying there normally. Okay, I guess the normal way that a yid was buried. Not lo ves tfusa, so you can move it, right? Because the point is that the assumption is that it's a temporary grave. Right? If a grave is buried there temporarily, so you could move it to some other place. So if you find a corpse that was buried in a place that nobody knew that it was buried there, so you can assume that it was temporarily buried there, and you can move it to some other place. Okay, fine. So nod loves tfusaso. So you take the corpse and also a shtickle dirt that surrounds it. The Gemara is going to explain how much dirt that is. Shnayim nod loves tfusaso. And if you find another one there, you can do the same thing. Matzah shlosha. Now, if you find 3 graves, however, now all of a sudden something is fishy. Im yesh bein zelozo midalad amis v'ad shmone harizo shchunas kfaris. If there are between 4 and if the corpses are spread out, within 4 to 8 amma distance, that is classic burial style, and therefore you have to assume that this is a burial area. And then you can't move the graves or anything like that. So now you have to check another further 20 amas to see if there are other graves buried there. And if you find another grave within 20 amas, so then you have to search 20 amas further. Because we're starting to get suspicious that this is a burial area. Now, but initially, if you just find one grave that you didn't know about, so then you would be able to take the corpse and some dirt with it. Amr Rav Yehuda, says the Gemara, says Rav Yehuda, Matzah prat lematzui, when it says if he found, so that to the exclusion of if it was already known, if it was a known grave. Meis prat laharug, dead as opposed to killed. Mushkov prat liyoshev, kedar liyoshev. It has to be, the corpse has to be lying down, not sitting. Kedarko prat l'shirosh munach ben yirei, and it has to be lying there properly, the way that Yidden would bury their corpses, but not if the head was like between the thighs. I guess that wasn't the way that the Yidden would bury their corpses. Tani Ula, should I Babylon? I'm kind of on the fence. Okay, Tani Ula Bar Chanina says, Ula Bar Chanina teaches, Meisha Chaser ein lo tfusav lo shchunas kvaris. If a corpse is missing any bit of it, so then it doesn't have the halacha of taking the dirt with it, and you can't make up a burial area. They have to be full bodied, full corpsed. Ve'cholhani my taima lo aminon my taima lo aminon dilma oivik kachavim hu. So, and how come if it's like sitting up, or if its head is between its thighs, then the halachas don't apply, because we're concerned that maybe it's a ovid kechavim. Okay. Motza shnayim rosha shelza b'tzad meraglois of shelza. The Gemara says that if you found 2 corpses, now they were buried that, like, the head of one corpse was by the feet of the other, and the feet of one corpse was by the head of the other. Okay, so again, so Matzah Shnayim Rosha Shelza b'tzad meraglois of shelza, Rosha Shelza b'tzad meraglois of shelza. So they were buried in opposite directions. In loin tfusav leishchunas kvaris, they don't have these halachas, because I guess that's not the way that the Yidden would bury their dead. Matzah Shloisha, if you find 3 corpses, so Echad Yadua v'Shnayim Tchila, 2 of them were known, that you knew that they were buried there, but one of them is new, you didn't know about it. Or Echad Tchila v'Shnayim Duim, or one of them is new, but 2 of them you knew about. Ein loim tfusav, ein loim shchunas kvaris. So again, these halachas don't apply. There was a ma'aseh with Rav Yeshviv that he checked and he found two corpses that were known and one that was new, that was not known. He thought to make it that this seems to be an established burial area. Rabbi Akiva said to Rav Yeshviv, all the hard work that you just did was for naught. That when it comes to shchunas kvaris, the halacha is that they have to be either three corpses that you knew about or three corpses that you didn't know about. But if some of them you knew about, some of them you didn't know about, that would not be a shchunas kvaris. Okay, fine. So we said that Yichap Maran together with some dirt. So where do we know this from? Amar of Yehuda Amar Kra Unisasani Mitzrayim. That the pasuk says I think it was by Yaakov Avinu. He says that you'll take me out of Eretz Mitzrayim. Tol imi, says take with me from Egypt. I take some of the dirt with me. How much dirt do you have to take? So you take whatever soft dirt is around the corpse, because some of the corpse may have sunken into that dirt. And then you dig another 3 finger breadths deep around it. Meisve, we have a kasha, however. How much is this dirt stuff? Perish Reb Elazar Reb Tzadik, no tells akismin, so you take whatever chips were around there, vesaksosos, and whatever clumps of earth, v'zorikes avadoin, and anything that you know for sure is not part of the corpse, you can leave, or you don't need to take. Umaniachas asvekes, but anything that you're not sure about, keep there. Meaning keep with the rest of the body. And the rest of the stuff that you know that for sure is part of the corpse. So then, it's useful for the halachis of corpses. For example, determining the majority of the body, or if you have a quarter of a kav of bones, or a ladle full of corpse dust. So the shaila is, it doesn't say anything in this brisa about the 3 finger breadths. We say, yeah, but Belazar is saying like the following Tanya, the Tanya that we learn in the brisa of Chamishir Tfusa. How much is this dirt that you have to chaparan? Amr Reb Yochanan Mishum Ben Azai, says Reb Yochanan, name of from Ben Azai, notal offer tichoach v'chof b'bsula shalosh isbos, just like Reb Belazar said that you take whatever loose dust was there, as well as you dig further 3 finger breadths. Bodek hemenu. Fine. So then we have to check. Amar Rava says, Rava, bodak ufina, bodak v'ashkach. What if he found one corpse and he moved it some other place? Then he found a second corpse and he moved that some other place. And now he finds a third corpse. So now what? Because now that we have 3 corpses, apparently it was a burial grounds. Now if it's a burial grounds, then you would be unable to move the corpses, but he already moved 2 of them. So now what? So again, Amar Rava says, Rava Badak Ufina, if he checked and he found the corpse and he moved it to another place, relocated it. Badak Ufina, he found the second corpse and relocated the second corpse. Badak ve'ashkach, and then he found a third corpse. Lo hai mefane le gabe hanach. So he can't move the third corpse to the other 2 because now it seems that it was a burial ground and you have to leave it. So fine, gabe hanach trei. But at the same time, you don't need to return the 2 that you already moved. You can leave them. Those who say, Amar Rava says, Rava came Shenitna Rishus Lefanos, Mefan alone. There are some who say that Rava's opinion is that, well, once actually we were allowed to remove the first 2, you can also remove the third one. But shouldn't it be a shchunas kvaris? How come you could remove all of them? Look, they found some reason, some logic that based upon it you can purify Eretz Yisrael. So we're going to rely upon that. If we could say that you didn't know about these graves, therefore you can move them each individually. So you can move them all. You can move them all individually. Badak me'esim amo v'lo matza mai. So if you find these 3 corpses, but then you check another 20 amas and you don't find anything there. So that area where the corpses were was a shchunas kvaris, but outside of it is not. You could skip the rest until the Mishnah. It says the Mishnah called Safek Negoyim Batchila Torah Ad Shelo Nizkak L'Tuma Mishnizkak L'Tuma Sfeik Otami, that if you have when it comes to tsaras, if it's unclear if it's tsaras or not. So we say if you were not yet determined to have tsaras, so then if we're not sure, so then it's we assume that it's tahor. But if you already had tsaras and now we're trying to figure out if you're healed or not, and we're not sure if you're healed, then you remain tummy. So again, kol sofik negoyim, when it comes to sofik tsaras, batchila tahor. So initially, when you're still tahor, so if you have a suffix of tsaras, so you remain tahor. Ad shelo nizkak l'tuma, as long as you have not yet been determined to be tummy. Misha nizkak l'tuma, once you're determined to be tummy, sveiko tummy. So if you're not now, if you're not sure if the tsaras is healed, so then you remain tummy. It says the Gemara Munah, how do we know this? Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rab, Amar Kra l'tayro l'tamo. That the pasuk says l'tayro l'tamo ho l'fasach ba'akosu b'tayro tchil. That since the pasuk says l'tayro l'tamo, right, to purify or to make impure, so pure, right. The Taira is coming first in the pasuk before Tuma. So ho l'fasach ba'akosu b'tayro tchila. Since we first mentioned Taira, so it means that we can go more lenient. But if that's the case, that we're saying because the pasuk says Taira before Tuma, so then even if the fellow's already tummy, we should still say, right? The Mishnah had said that if he's already tummy, now we have a suffix about if it's tsaras or not, so we have to go stringent and say that he remains tummy. But why? The pasuk says the Taira or the Tamo. It mentions Taira before Tuma. We should give that priority, the Taira priority. So Ela kitma de Rav Yehuda Marav ha itmar. Rather, Rav Yehuda Marav's statement about the Taira or the Tamo is on the following: in Baheres Kodma l'seyar lovin. If a fellow first had this skin thing, and then a white hair grows on the skin thing, so then he's tummy. But if he first had a white hair and then some skin stuff grew around it, some tsarasi, skin diseasey looking stuffy grows around it, so then he's tahor. Sofik, but if you're not sure which came first, tummy. Rabbi Yeshua Amar Kea. Rabbi Yeshua says Kea. My Kea. What does it mean Kea? Review the Kea v'tohor. It means that it's tohor. V'doma Kea v'tomei. Maybe it means that it's tummy. Review the Amarav. Kra l'taru l'tamo. That the pasuk says to make pure or impure. Hol fasach ba'akasu b'tayr tchila. Since the pasuk first mentioned Tyre, so we can go lenient to say that it's tohor. Friends, that was Daf Samachay of Masechta Nazir. I hope you enjoyed, of course. Maybe this wasn't such enjoyable stuff, but anyways, but everything we enjoy, why not? Friends, whoa, there's somebody outside maybe. Right, not like yesterday where somebody was trying to get me to open the door. Yeah, didn't work. Buster. Tomorrow, friends, we're going to wrap up Masechta Nazir. Peace out.